Madam Speaker, day before yesterday, Francis Beinecke, the president of the Natural Resources Defense Council, said the following. GOP lawmakers would have us believe that the public health and environmental safeguards stemming from the Clean Air Act, a 40-year-old law signed by President Nixon, are thwarting economic growth. It's not the unregulated market in mortgage debt. It's not the U.S. trade deficit with China. It's not the shaky state of our European banks that is freezing growth. It's the EPA's effort to reduce toxins from old power plants. Madam Speaker, millions of Americans are hurting and in desperate need of our help. Instead of working to create jobs, my colleagues on the other side would rather consider do-nothing bills. We've been doing nothing around here for a very long time now, and considering do-nothing to get our economy back on track. This do-nothing bill does not create jobs, and it does nothing to help the struggle of middle-class and working poor Americans. Please know this, that let me give just some examples of the timeline on the Environmental Protection Agency's laws, and listed in part by administration. I spoke earlier about the Clean Air Act of 1970, the Clean Water Act that President Nixon vetoed. His veto was overridden, and then he signed it on October 18th, 1972. Under President Ford, we got the Safe Drinking Water Act. The cancer-causing pesticides were banned. Toxic Substances Control Act in 1976 under President Ford. Under Jimmy Water Act of 1977, then the EPA set new national air pollution standards for lead, and I'm sure families with children understand that dynamic. The phase out of chlorofluorocarbons gases took place in 1978. And under President Reagan, we got the Nuclear Waste Policy Act in '82, the asbestos testing in government in schools, which was critically important throughout this nation. We got the Chesapeake Bay pollution cleanup, a 90% reduction of lead in gasoline during that same period of time, although it was not his discovery. The ozone layer problem was discovered. But in '86, President Reagan signed the Drinking Water Act amendments, the Wetlands Protection Measure in '86, the Right to Know laws for chemical safety in 1986. The Montreal Protocol was signed by the President in 1987. Standards for underground storage tanks in 1988. Sewage ocean dumping ban came about in 1988. Our pesticide ban for use on foods came under President Bush. Toxic waste control came under President Bush. The Pollution Prevention Act, acid rain controls enacted, the Energy Star program. That's just a few, and I won't go into the many under President Clinton and the few that have taken place under President Obama. But with that said, there seems to be this act against the Environmental Protection Agency that suggests that they have been harmful in some way. That's another word for demonized, that they've been harmful. The EPA, all of these things that have been done throughout all of this time that have helped our environment, I just, for the life of me, don't understand why it is now we want to slow down this process and allow for analysis that is already being done to be delayed. We want to protect and conserve the land on which we live, our countryside, our rivers, our mountains, our plains and meadows and forests. That's what Ronald Reagan said. This is our patrimony. This is what we leave to our children. And our great moral responsibility is to leave it to them either as we found it or better than we found it. Does the bill that we're considering today leave the land better than we found it? I think you know the answer. I urge my colleagues to vote no on this rule and the previous question and underlying bill, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentlemen,